Welcome to Atlantis Tarot. This is the tarot forecast for Taurus for the month of July, including late June 2026. So welcome there, Taurus. So we are just about in the sign of Cancer as I speak. It's the 20th of June. So we can look at emotions quite definitely this month. Can be confused emotions or related emotions. All sorts of emotions run rife this time of year in Cancer. It's also the sign of the mother as well, so a lot of nurturing going on in there as well. Okay, so you are in your third house of communication, siblings, neighbours, and just all around getting things out there, saying what you think, being really direct, minding the siblings and the neighbours, because there are two sets of people that there is often can be sort of empiric arguments or fights with, disagreements over fence lines, disagreements over the siblings' clothes or who's the most favourite child. So that's what we're entering into. So we'll proceed. And you have the Queen of Pentacles, which is indeed one of your cards, as the energy around, which is lovely. So it is very much, she is very much about home and hearth. She's very together woman. She's got everything organised and sorted. She's sort of a woman you love to go to her home because it's always cosy and there's always something on the stove bubbling away and it just feels like home. And she feels like a mother or just a really good friend, actually, I'd say. Beautiful energy, though, to have for the month. And, of course, being a Pentacles card, very earthed. So very stable and down to earth. So that looks really good. Where you are right now, Taurus. And we have the beautiful star coming in. Major card, major energy. So she's all about moving forward in life, forever moving forward, not looking back really or pausing. She sort of says that this is how things should be, just forward movement. And whoever comes across your path or whatever comes across your path, you deal with it rather than avoid it, if you know what I mean. So it's the card for Aquarians. So it's a very sort of out there, very big picture sort of energy really with Aquarians. You'll find a lot of them in the arts and the movies, and they're actresses and performers. They're very sort of grandiose with everything they do. But they do move forward a lot because they have to, in account of what career they've chosen, if you get my drift. So it's that big picture Aquarian energy coming in here, which is your cousin's, no, it's not your cousin's son, sorry. Okay, let's see the challenge and the inspiration or the influence. Nine of Wands, so you're coming to the end of a cycle really with the nines. It's always about completion. So something's coming to an end that's been quite fast and furious as we go on, and you're just waiting for the day where you cross that finish line because it has been all consuming of your energy and everything else involved. It's a Wands card, so obviously it's been a project or something that you've been working very hard on. It can be a relationship as well, or whatever you want to tag it onto. But it's just there to remind you that you nearly completed the cycle. So just give it your best shot of adrenaline and get over that line. And that's what's important, finishing it off. So excellent. Really nice card. And especially for the rest of the reading as well, it sort of says, well, it may be a month fraught with emotions, etc., but you know that it will come to an end like most things. It's just a transitory thing or stage, better word. Okay, so let's go into the background and see what's been going on and still has merit today. The Empress, the mother. So, yes, abundance as well and creativity coming in. Top female archetype here. Of course, it's a major card, so major energy coming through. Very much we can always remind people to think about their mothers, whether they're here or they've passed on, whatever, or even people who are currently mothering or are mothers. So it's a really nice card for creations, birthing new things into your life, birthing children for some of you into your life. So it's quite fascinating, the Empress card, and she holds a lot of power because of her ability to create and sustain life. Recent influences, 10 of Cups, beautiful card, Taurus. So very much doing well within yourself. Self-love is really important. As I always interpret this card as self-love comes before a love that you have with somebody else or something else, that you're not projecting or expecting that person to fulfill you. You're doing it, you do it yourself, and then you meet a match and it's just great. It's like mirror type of thing. So really nice card to have, 10 of Cups, especially in the time of Cancer, because Cups belongs to Cancer. So well done for you guys with this one. It's a lovely card. They do call it the marriage card, but I feel like that's sort of a bit outdated at the moment, because there's a lot of different ways of relationships apart from getting married that sustain, that we have as well in our lives. They can be platonic as well as romantic. So excellent card to have. The lesson. 4 of Swords, so just sitting back a little bit and observing the world going by. Still up with your routines and the things you do, but you're much more observant. And this is quite interesting coming in the time of communication as well, in the 3rd house, because it allows you that luxury really of just observing rather than sort of really connecting, and but you're still gathering up whatever it is that you need to gather up about a situation, so then you can clearly communicate, if you get my drift. It's sort of, sometimes it's really good just to sit and listen and watch and observe, and then after all that's done we can actually communicate in a very clear way. It's also about having a bit of a rest as well, because there's been a lot going on, especially mentally. Near future, 3 of Swords, heartbreak, grief coming in. So allow it to come in and sit down with it and have a cup of tea with it. And oftentimes in the intuitive signs times, like the Scorpios, the water signs, the Scorpios, the Cancers and the Geminis, Cancers and the Pisceans, this grief does tend to emerge in the water signs, because it's driven, it's driven emotionally and spiritually, and using your sort of intuition to heal, I suppose you'd say. So that's another way of looking at this 3 of Swords, especially when it comes up in a reading for you in the time of the water signs, because it's a lot more easier to express those emotions then, or they just automatically pour out of you and you just think, why am I crying? Why am I so upset over that? But that is how grief operates. And it's with us for a lifetime, so we need to be able to handle it when it sort of appears, usually quite suddenly, and people go, but I'm not grieving about anything, but there is something deep down that it's indicating. Let's see what's happening that you're not realising. And we have the 5 of Pentacles. Sorry, I'm a bit rusty this afternoon. So the Five of Pentacles, so it's all about spending time alone, and this is a choice, just feeling like being with yourself. It's a bit like the Four of Swords as well, where you just sort of take a step back, I suppose. You feeling a bit like out in the cold, but once again, it's a choice. So it's usually indicative of change going on, or you going through a big cycle of change as well, where sometimes we just do need that alone time just to conserve our energy and also just work out things that are very personal to us. So you probably decline invitations, etc. at this time, but it's in your position of you not realising this is going on. So perhaps that would be a good idea. In this key card down here, it's always the key really to the reading, is just to take a little more time alone in the next 4 weeks, just to sort of work through your stuff, your personal stuff. Okay, let's see how others see you and how that correlates. Lots of energy, new beginnings coming in very quickly. Just energy to burn, actually, with the Ace of Wands. Now, with some of you, looking at this Empress sitting up here, and this can also indicate fertility. Just saying, Taurus, for those of you. And I know a few that may apply to. Anyway, but it's a wonderful time when people see you as this, and you're probably thinking, oh, no, I'm not full of energy at all. But there is that opportunity to grab that energy and use it when others see you with this, and then you think, oh, okay, well, I better match up to, the bar. I better set the bar as accordingly to the Eight of Wands with all the abundance of energy. So that's a really nice card to be seen as. We all like energetic people. They sort of they inspire. Okay, let's see positive feelings, and we have Justice. So very karmic time, and you're feeling that already. That's already a given for you. So karma, as we know it is, you are, the sum total of what you've created. And sometimes, we kind of think we can get away with certain things. Could be anything really, and then sort of 6 months down the track or whenever time lapse, and suddenly you think, oh God, why is this all going like this? And it's because of previous karmic decisions. So it's a really big card, but it's also a very nice card. You've got some great big cards this time. Taurus, the Emperor, Empress, the Star, and the good old Justice card. So Justice is basically the balance, keeping things in balance at all time, giving and taking in equal measures, just minding your manners with people, and, just, would you like that to be said to you? Would you like that to happen to you? No. We'll just mind how, and especially in the third house, mind your communication, especially with the neighbours and the siblings, just to remind you of what can crop up in this third house. Okay, final card, final outcome. And we have, Knight of Swords, so abrupt change coming in very quickly with this young, youthful male energy coming through. He comes in out of nowhere, creates a disruption, and then before you know it, he's left. But yeah, he's sort of, all the knights are messengers of a type, of types. So, but he's particularly a communicator. And sometimes he can say things that really he has no intention on sort of backing up. So this is the disruption he can cause, usually with communication. He doesn't always say things that, and then honour promises kind of thing. But on a bigger scale, it can just be figuratively something coming in out of nowhere, and you're just going, oh my God. It's the card for Gemini, actually, and we've just come out of Gemini, so that's interesting that this is a delayed Geminial factor coming in with this Knight of Swords, but we shall see. But be on the lookout for that towards the end of this cycle of Cancer, so sort of third week of July. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, and thank you for helping me grow the channel. Thank you.